This is the LowcoSports Lowdown podcast. Here are your hosts, Justin Jarrett and Wes Kerr.
Hey, welcome, LowcoSports fans, to a Thursday night edition of the LowcoSports Lowdown. Justin Jarrett, joined as always by Wes Kerr, and we got a great show on tap. We're going to talk some wrestling. We got Ashley Powell coming by from the six-time region champion, defending or consecutive region champion, May River Sharks. And we also have another region champ on the wrestling mats, Bridges Prep. Won it tonight. We'll talk a little bit more about that. We're trying to get Hagen, but they're just getting on the road, so I don't think it's going to work out tonight. We'll definitely have to get him on the grind on Sunday. And then we'll talk a little women's hoops with Takoya Hayward, who just hit 1,500 points, another milestone for her. Yeah, she went over that last on Tuesday night, so we'll talk about that with her and chop it up a little bit about this USC LSU game that just wrapped up too, because wow. What a battle that was. And I'm sure she was checking that out. And, while we've got her, we'll talk a little USCB hoops as well and see what's going on with
what a night it was.
It was. We're going to talk about that as well. Yeah, we got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, so it's going to be a great show. But let's go ahead and talk a little about USCB, because that's where we both were last night. Excuse me, my voice last night coaching wrestling for the season. We had a tight duel. We were down 3 starters, and we still had a chance to beat River Ridge in the last match and couldn't get it done. They got us tonight. Shout out to Chad Cox, great friend and vice superintendent, whatever he is, assistant superintendent at the district. His son Brock got the clinching win tonight, so I know he was very proud. Truman got a dub as well, so it was a great way to end the season for him. But I think Hilton Head was going to probably take care of River Ridge and win the championship, although it would have been a pretty interesting match, I think. But I'll find out who won. But wrapped up our wrestling season tonight, so my voice is a little raspy at the moment. And we'll talk some more wrestling with Powell and Hagen. But USCB last night, man, that was an intense, and that's another reason my voice is tired. Back-to-back overtime games last night on the air for the Sandshark Game Day Network with John Drafts, which was an absolute pleasure. And man, what a couple of basketball games in the Cove, huh?
Yeah, I mean, just crazy the way both of those finished. And man, first and foremost, what a huge inaugural Peach Belt win for that women's squad, and they certainly deserved it. What way? Just a comeback in overtime. They were down 5 after Malone, who was a problem really most of the night, put in a layup, then made a free throw. But Michaela Primo, what a clutch performer that she was last night. Hit that 3 at the top of the key to really put the Sandsharks back in this ball game. And then, man, Tanaya, just relentless stuff from Tanaya Bowman and that entire squad. And that's a really gutsy win, one you really needed to have if you're the Sandsharks. And, just great to see a young, scrappy group battle against USC Aiken, which, it's a desperation kind of game. You're searching for that first win for both these squads. So, just both games, just outstanding high-level basketball, which is what you want to see here in this, this new conference. But to see like the 2 new rivals square off and produce a pair of overtime thrillers, really, really awesome, and it just sets a tone for should be a great rematch between these 2 squads later in the year. But a big win for the women. Just a rough way to see it. Man, the guys, how many chances did they have? Just closing out this game, they had a 6-point lead with under 2 minutes to go. Let slip away, and you just can't shoot 46% from the free throw line. Expect to win a basketball game. That was it. That
was the thing.
That's gonna be
It was devastating. It was devastating, but man, it was a terrific night. Big win for the women, and the guys were on the cusp of a monumental win and just couldn't quite pull it off. But they're right there, man. They are right there.
Aiken's at the top of the standings.
They're a top 10 caliber team. So it was cool. But we do have a guest waiting in the green room, and he is a tired man because he's been working so hard, winning all those region championships. So let's segue real quick to Coach Ashley Powell from May River frequent guest of the program and friend of the show. What's going on, Coach?
Good morning. Good afternoon, guys. How are y'all? Or good evening. Confused what it is, morning, afternoon, night, whatever.
I had to do a double take to figure out what day it was just a little bit ago. Like
Correct.
it's been a whirlwind, certainly, and certainly for you too. And it's funny as we sit here talking about a 6th straight region title, and really none of the duels were the James Island duel was a battle, but you pretty well took care of business. And I think you genuinely thought going into the season that it wasn't going to be like this, but I think it's a testament to the depth of your program and the guys, just getting after it and making each other better.
Yeah, for sure. Going into the season, and I was as serious as I could be. I thought the two best teams in the region in terms of what they were returning and what they had in terms of coaches. I thought James Island and Lucy Beckham were going to be in the 1-2 spot. And I thought us, Bluffton, and Hilton Head would probably be battling for that 3rd, 4th spot in the region. And James Island is kind of beat up right now. I think they're probably the team to beat in the lower state when they're all healthy. They got some hammers, and they've been banged up a little bit. And you're right, it was a dogfight over there last week. So I expect them to get everybody back here very, very shortly, and hopefully I think the playoffs will be pretty exciting.
Coach, you have raised the standard to a new level here in the Lowco, especially at your school in May River. So congratulations now. I believe 6 in a row, region champions. That is not an easy feat, especially against some programs that have been solid over time, like Bluffton, Hilton Head, and even some up and coming schools like James Island, Lucy Beckham, who are going to 5A. So no easy feat, outstanding. Just describe the way that your team is just quickly reloaded despite losing a couple of key wrestlers and hammers throughout these past years of success, and how these younger guys and wrestlers who have been around this program and have been exposed to it for a while just stay in the course and finding ways to keep the tradition going.
Yeah, it's what's crazy is I think back to our very first region match at May River High School about 7.5 years ago, and we wrestled, as you talk about setting the standard for Lowco wrestling. It was Nate Day over at Battery Creek High School. Unfortunately, Coach Day passed away a couple years ago, but one of the absolute best men, not only in the Lowco but the state of South Carolina. And we were our first year we wrestled them over there, and they were state runner-ups that year. Lost a tight one, and they beat us 81-0. We did not even sniff a point, and to think to where we've gone, I guess, since then and things like that. But we graduated, like I said, we graduated 2 state champs. We had another state champ move away. His family was in the military, lost a 2-time state placer. And, and people the general public don't fully understand what losing 4 starters who are pinners means. I mean, right. That's a potential of 48-point swing in most scenarios. But I think it's a testament to, we've had a couple kids, man, who have been on our team for 3 and 4 years and just couldn't break into the lineup. And with a sport like wrestling, man, it's hard to keep coming back when you're not a starter, and you're especially going into your junior or senior year. One of them that I can think of right off the top of my head is Walter Briones. Walter's been in our program for 3 years. He was just always sandwiched between 2 good guys, and we try to move around a little bit. And he's had some really invaluable wins for us in playoff matches, but he's just never been a full-time starter. And this year, he put the work in the off season, and like I told him, and I said, man, look, if you commit to this thing, I think you can be pretty good. And we got a lot of kids on our team like that who've just been around the program a lot, and like Will Morrow, those guys who didn't really care for wrestling. And he's a football player, and we taught him into wrestling, and they've really helped us in stride. And we got some young kids, and it's been pretty cool, man, to be honest with you, to get some of those guys who've been around our program and not drop the baton, so to speak, on this year when we lost so many. And I expected this to be down a little bit, and a lot of too, but our kids have responded. So that's been pretty neat.
Yeah, no doubt. Do you know who you'll have the first 2 rounds of the playoffs yet, or have you figured that out?
I do not. Obviously, I do know we'll be home
Yeah.
next Saturday. We'll host 2 teams or maybe 3. I'm not sure if we get a bye or not. To be honest with you, I have not looked into brackets. I don't look ahead very often. I try to just take care of, I don't want to start looking ahead too much and that type of things. When you're dealing with wrestling, man, it's a finicky sport, man. And, somebody moves their lineup around and next thing you know, you're in a bad spot. I know the two regions. One region is finished, so we could start piecing that together. The Myrtle Beach region, their duels are done, but then the Columbia region, they have their duels tournament this Saturday, so we'll be waiting for those results. But hopefully Saturday night or Sunday, we'll kind of know who we have and kind of start piecing together what time we'll wrestle on that Saturday. But obviously, it'll definitely be at May River rounds 1 and 2.
Right on.
Fantastic.
Yeah, go ahead, Wes.
Yeah, Coach, describe the way this region has improved this year, because I think that, looking through the depth, and you talked about a couple of teams, but Hilton Head, I think, has gotten better alongside Bluffton with what Neil Nutter's doing. So you just tell me about the challenge that this region presented and how it grew in the Lowco and beyond this year.
I've said it since the beginning of the year. I think our region is the best from top to bottom. Probably one of the better regions in 4A. I would definitely say it's probably top amongst the 4A lower state for sure. But I mean, we got really good coaches. I mean, Neil Nutter's Division I wrestler. The guy who coached at Lucy Beckham wrestled Division I. Coach from James Island's from Iowa. Coach Newton is, I think, wrestled in 4 state championships as a team. I mean, they're really, really good coaches who care about the sport, who have support from their administration. They want to be good. So, it's going to be good. I think we're going to have several, state finalists or state champs from our own region. So we did our seed meeting tonight, as a matter of fact, for our region tournament on Saturday. And I mean, we got some really, really good weights in our own region where we got multiple state qualifiers. We got kids who've been state placers in the same weight. So it's going to be a dogfight Saturday.
Where will that be held, Coach?
That'll be over at Bluffton High School.
Okay. What time are you?
We start at 10.
Yeah. All right. I did not realize that you had a region qualifying tournament. So that's good. That's cool.
That's what advances us to the lower state qualifier. That's something.
Gotcha.
A lot of divisions do it different, but 4A has a qualifying system for the lower state and upper state. So you got to finish. Our region gets 5, so you got to finish top 5 to qualify. You don't eliminate a whole lot of kids, which is good because those kids get to practice a couple more weeks and continue to grow the sport. But congratulations for y'all, man, making the little Final Four in the middle school playoff.
We took a tough L tonight. We were down 3 starters, and 2 guys got sick last week, and it put them behind in their schoolwork, so they didn't get to wrestle tonight. So we went up against River Ridge and came up a little short. So it was tough.
This is the time of year something's going around because I haven't been feeling myself tonight.
Well, I tell you, there's all kind of stuff going around, and they've been in and out, and and in our sport, it's if somebody gets it, just about everybody's going to get it in due time because it just makes its way around. There's so much personal contact, and you're swapping sweat and stuff, so it's going to happen. I mean, the good side of it is a lot of those guys have a lot of immunities built up because they get exposed to a lot of crap, and get through it. So they're able to to fend off a lot of stuff. But yeah, we just got hit by a bug last week, and then a couple of guys that we really needed in the lineup weren't in there tonight. So still came down to the last match, and Brock Cox got the win to seal it for River Ridge. So they moved on to face whoever won between Hilton Head and Robert Smalls. Litton Head had the deepest lineup for sure. They weren't going to give up any forfeits.
I texted Chad a little earlier tonight, probably a little while ago, just to see how Coach Coxon finished up, and they said that they beat y'all in the last match, a really, really tough one, and they lost to Hilton Head. So I think Hilton Head is your middle school county champion.
Middle school champ.
Done a good job.
Coach, I'm sure you're aware, but we have another region champion that was crowned, I believe, today. Bridges Prep.
Yeah.
Yeah, I
champs.
think they beat Bamberg in the
Yep.
final match to win it.
They
So
did. I've got
Bamberg's got a rich history,
scores.
so that's good.
They beat Bamberg 47-30. Solid win. Beat Whale Branch 54-24 and beat Blackville Hilda 66-15. So yeah, Bridges champs. We were trying to get Hagen on, but he said no chance on the back roads. Julie
If he's
Pike
coming back from
Jones.
Bamberg, he ain't gonna have very good service. I can assure you that.
No, sir. No, sir. Not unless you get on that interstate. But that takes you a while to get there. So
That's a fact.
and he says there's about 1,000 potholes on the road coming back from Bamberg to 95. But he's commenting. So congrats, Hulk Hagen
Yeah,
and the
congratulations to
crew of
them, man. Like I
Bridges.
said, I talked to Coach Macy earlier. He was trying to keep me posted a little bit. That's a huge step in the right direction for their program, who's obviously young as a new school. But anytime you can win a region championship and put a trophy in a trophy case, man, that's very valuable. So congratulations to them.
I think a lot like you have, they've created a culture. They've created a culture where kids want to be involved in it. They have a lot of kids out, especially for the size of their school. They've made it fun. They've made it attractive, and a lot of credit to Hagen and the assistant coaches. I mean, Cooper Kamensky is an awesome guy. Wrestled at Battery Creek and then wrestled in college.
Yeah, I think
and
he
then
was on
Dan,
that team that beat us. I think he was on that team that beat us 81-0.
probably. And then Dan Puccini, I don't know if you've gotten to spend much time with him, but he's a great dude too. I really enjoy talking with Dan. He's good people. You disappeared for a second there, Coach. I don't know what happened. But you got us, Coach? He's having a hard time with his audio all of a sudden. Well, hey, Coach, it looks like your phone's messing up on you, but you got to get to bed. You got to go night-night. You go night-night. I don't know why you can't hear us. I know. Let's try popping him out back in. You hear us now, Coach? All right. I can't change your headphone settings, so we'll let you go. We appreciate you. We'll let Coach Powell go to bed. Hopefully he gets back where he can hear us here shortly.
6 in a row. That's big time. I mean, that shows that you were a prominent power in that sport. And I just love the way he energizes his team and the way they all compete and work hard for him. And you can see the special program that's being built over there especially for a school coming out of existence, getting off the ground and just seeing that instant success. Instant success. Obviously, he mentioned that they had their lumps, they had that like blowout loss, and right when they were starting, and then it eventually it got to the way that it did. But man, he's really laid the standard for a program that has experienced some huge success, got to the state championship a couple times, of course, running into the East Side, which has been a dynasty of its own, but you can't ask much more for a wrestling program and the achievements that it's accomplished at this level. And, I think it's here to stay for the foreseeable future. And Powell has been the guy responsible for all that, and just a great guy, awesome to talk to, and I also love the energy when his guys win big matches. He's going to celebrate, and he's going to get pumped up over there on the sideline.
Yeah, he's a kindred spirit in that regard. I might have gotten a little hyped up when my guy Charles Hamilton got a pen tonight. I was pretty pumped. There's a little fist pumping, had to go in the corner and kind of lose it for a second. So I definitely feel Powell when he gets into the moment. I mean, it's a very intense sport to coach. Like you're very involved in it and you feel it. Not quite on the level that the wrestlers do maybe, but there's a different level of anxiety to it too, because there's so much you can't control as a coach, and you see opportunities and you want the guy to grasp it so much. And so it's really an involved process coaching wrestling. And you just want it so bad for the kids. I mean, you see how hard they work, and you see how hard they're working in the match, and you just want to be able to congratulate them when they come off the mat. It's a tough thing when they don't get the dub. So I know I love the passion he pours into it. And if you watch him on the football sidelines, he's the same guy there. He's just going a million miles an hour and just putting all of his heart and soul into it. So you can see why his program has been so successful, and they'll continue to be, because I mean, there's a lot of young talent there, and there's a lot more coming. I mean, we're sending a bunch of guys from McCracken over there. River Ridge is going to send a bunch of good guys. So they're going to be in good shape for years to come. And they've got a great coaching staff that he's brought in to surround him, which helps tremendously. I mean, you got to have a lot of eyes in the room to be able to make sure people are doing the little things right. And that's critical. And they've got the right guys in there to teach all the different, aspects that you need to be successful. And then, of course, Reverend Wrestling Club is a big part of the success that we're seeing across the region as well. The things they're offering, as well as the Foundry where Cooper is at. There's a lot of great training happening in a couple of places around the area, and that is definitely helping kids.
They
take
work
their
hard
skills
over at Reverend's. Man, that was fun to see it. As you said, how the sausage gets made in person with the amount of training and the amount of just drills and focus and hacks that can get you more wins out there on the mat. And they got to earn it. But these coaches do a great job of really putting these kids in position to succeed, and you pick up a few more wins out there on the mat, and really end up being difference for a squad right here in Lowco. One of those guys to break through in a tournament. So we're doing great work over there.
He mentioned guys like Walter Briones and how they were trying to break through and they committed themselves in the off season. Well, now you have a place to go commit yourself in the off season. I mean, there's a mat there year round, and there's classes there every week year round, and you can go get better if that's what you want to do.
At the end of the day, it's up to the kids.
You got to put in the work.
You got to take advantage of it, and we see the kids that are getting the success from their ability to pursue that opportunity. So it comes down to the drive of those young boys and girls, but the ones who do take advantage and put in the work and have that innate skill as well, they're showing out, and that's why we love having Revenants and some of these other programs there to help grow the caliber of wrestling here, because it's continuing, as we have said many times this winter. It's continuing to get to that next level, and it's fun as as LowcoSports journalist and reporter and podcaster. It's been fun to see the rise of it over the years, because I remember when I was younger, wrestling was starting to become a thing, but I just think that the bar has been raised with the additions of the training.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And as noted by, I'm going to guess Rutherford, but it doesn't tell me who, all Lowco high schools made the playoffs this season for wrestling. Good stuff. Battery Creek finished second at their region duels, which is kind of a blessing in disguise, because I was talking with Rutherford earlier about how the brackets shake out, and it actually helps them. They like their path better as a 2 seed. Philip Simmons beat them in a really tight match. There were 3 swing matches, I felt like, that where Battery Creek was had a chance to win those matches and ended up getting pinned, and that was really what swung it. But Battery Creek beat Beaufort. I think Beaufort finished 4th, so they'll be in as a 4 seed. So, but we'll talk more wrestling on the Lowco Grind, presented by Reverend's Wrestling Club, on Sunday night, 10 p.m. after we do Lowco or Sand Track Rewind at 8 p.m. So let's shift gears now and shout out our varsity sponsors our MVP sponsors before we get to our next guest. We got Megan Jarrett, the official realtor of LowcoSports. I just saw her new mailer that she's sending out. So be on the lookout for a mailer from the official realtor of LowcoSports, Megan Jarrett from Anchor Home Group of Keller Williams of the Low Country. She'd love to help you find your place in the Lowco and put down an anchor in the best place. It's really a great time to buy right now because the market is getting ready to go back up and spike, and it's a time that you can negotiate prices right now, which is really going to help you in the long run, even if you have a little bit higher interest rate than you might have a few months down the road. So if you're thinking about it, call on Megan Jarrett, official realtor of LowcoSports. I got her digits. Homegrown home inspection. I got them way back in 02, 01. Still got it. Homegrown Home Inspections, the official home inspectors of LowcoSports, Jan Lucas and his team, best in the business in this area, and they are going to make sure you're making a great investment with Homegrown Home Inspections. Mickelson Law Firm, the official real estate closing attorneys of LowcoSports and our original sponsors since 2017. Still with us, Ryan and Tiffany and their team will take care of all your legal needs at Mickelson Law Firm. And Hospice Care of the Low Country, led by the incredible James Disman, first guest on Interesting Minds of the Low Country with Angela Huser of the Anchor Home Group and Will Savage of PMC Mortgage. So check that out over on the Lowco Media Network on Podbean or on YouTube. And those are our MVP sponsors. And now we'll shift gears and talk a little hoops with the legendary Takoya Hayward, longtime friend of the program. We've been covering this kid for ages, and that's how she got to 1,500 points. What's up, T? You're muted, baby. There you go.
Hello.
Congratulations on another milestone. We didn't even realize it last night or Tuesday night that you went over 1,500. But community sister Sharon Brown, she hooked up. She let everybody know on Facebook. So congratulations on another milestone. I mean, it's one thing it's a big deal to reach 1,000 points in your high school career. Like, we celebrate that, but to hit 1,500, you have to feel pretty blessed to be able to have as long a run as you've had over there at Bluffton.
Thank you. Yes, another accomplishment. I didn't really realize I was hitting 1,500 till like the day before, and I realized I needed 14 more points. So Rico challenged me to get the 14 points before halftime. So.
And you put up those 14 points, and you finished with 30 on the night as you took down May River over on Tuesday. So, taking care of business in this region, still unbeaten on the year. Tell me about how it's all clicking so far in region play in 2024.
It's really hit or miss for us at the moment. Like, some of our region games are going pretty good. Some of them aren't. Like, as far as us playing Lucy Beckham and James Island, those games were a little rough for us. We started off slow, started off bad. We had to struggle, and they were hard-fought wins, which is really not something that we want because, those are the wins that could end up being losses. So we got to fix that and correct that before we go into next week, because I'm pretty sure we play both of those teams. No, we play Lucy Beckham next week and then James Island the following week. So hopefully we can fix everything, because I'm not losing the region. It's not.
No, I got there a little late in the James Island game, and I could tell just from your body language that it hadn't been going the way you wanted it to go. You just kind of had a sour look, but you guys found a way. I mean, you dug deep and found a way. What do you learn from those games, those tough games? What do you take out of them and try to use it to make the team better?
Mainly out of those games, I feel like I learned that it's up to me to get their energy going, because in the James Island and the Lucy Beckham games, both of those games, I started kind of flat. Like, I was trying to let my teammates do everything else when I should have been the one trying to do stuff and get the game going. So when I don't start out aggressive and I don't start out looking for my shots, it's really hard to get them going and get them motivated. And that's why we have bad first halves or bad games. So in those two games that are coming up, or really the rest of the regional games, I really need to start coming out aggressive and start looking for my shots, so that way the whole team can catch on and we all have the same energy and not just waiting to like the third or fourth quarter to try and get everybody together.
Sometimes it's a matter of just keep shooting when you're, find that slump, and you're doing a great job of finding different ways of getting your team points up on the board and playing really efficient basketball on both ends. And you guys showed that on Tuesday night against May River. But, you've been a big part of this, but you have an outstanding supporting cast this year, led by the sensational young player in Amira Brown. I mean, she has been an electric piece of your attack this year. You just tell me about the energy that she has brought to the court and the scoring she's been able to generate alongside you for this team.
As far as Myra goes, I feel like whenever the whole team is locked in, then she locks in. When she knows that she has to realize that we need buckets, that we need Like if I'm not stepping up and we need somebody to step up, it's always gonna be Amira. Like sometimes it'll be Jelena, but it's not as much Jelena because Jelena's a big. But when it comes to the guard stepping up, it's always Amira. She always gives us buckets. Like in the Woodmont game, we were down and I wasn't stepping up, and she stepped up and scored like 22, 24, something like that game. Like she just steps up when she knows that we need it, and she steps up when she just stepping up, she just takes good and better shots than she usually does. And she's more aggressive, she plays better defense. Like those are the games that I love to watch her play because she steps up and the team just starts clicking.
Yeah, I would say a difference
And
that I've
just
seen in
going
her
off
this
of
year.
that, going off of that,
Well, I've got something going off of that. Hold on.
just follow.
I want to. Yeah.
Yeah.
With Amira, the thing that I've noticed differently, I think this year maybe, is that she is just a little bit more, more mature, obviously. But when she gets emotional, she used to kind of get out of control, and now when she gets emotional, she takes over. Like she goes for the throat. Am I right?
I mean, sometimes like it's hard to tell when she's gonna do that. Like most of the time when she loses control and she gets upset, or like when Coach Roberts or Coach Rico is really getting on her hard because they want her to do better, or when somebody's talking trash to her on the court, she gets upset, she gets her little feelings hurt. But like she'll come to me and ask me to talk to her or like help calm her down, and that's what I do during the game. And eventually she gets out of her little slump, and then she goes and just plays how she usually plays.
Get her back in the front brain.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I think the
Sorry,
last time we
Wes, I
talked
had
to
to
you
get that
was
in.
during the the last time we talked to you, I think, was during the Bobcat Classic. You guys were in the midst of your run. You guys end up taking the tournament, your second tourney during the holidays that you guys won. And this one, has had to be special because there was a goal for you to win this tournament, and you got it done. And just tell me about how that was a big turning point moment for this team, being able to take down a couple of quality squads, 3 wins in 3 days to really build yourselves as a complete unit. So, how big was that tournament win here at Bluffton to get you ready for region play?
We actually had a talk about this as a team. Like those 2 tournaments, playing those teams that like we've never seen before, never played, never had stats on them, nothing. The fact that we played them how we played, and we played aggressive, we played together. We were down like 15, 20 points at one time and made a comeback and beat them. It just showed us what we can do when we don't play down to other teams' levels. Not talking about anybody, but like when we don't play down to anybody's level and we really play Bobcat basketball, like there's rarely anybody that can compete with us, and those who compete with us, they can't outlast us in the end. So those 2 tournaments and playing those really good teams, it really showed us where we stand and where we can be. And it showed us that like even those little minor mishaps in the region, we can get past those, and hopefully, Lord, please, hopefully all that energy transfers over into the playoffs.
That's it. So I want to get in your head a little bit about the playoffs, because I think that was kind of it was obviously a mental hurdle for you guys for a couple of years there, and it became like a thing you dreaded almost. But are you past that? It seems like you're eager for the playoffs this year.
I'm ready for the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like this season has just been very different for me, and I honestly don't know why. Like, I feel like it's probably because I played AAU this year. And that, like, the coaches I had, the team I had, like, they really got on me. They pushed me. They brought me out of my little droughts. So now I'm more aggressive. Like, I'm averaging way more than ever, shooting better than ever. Like, I average more steals and all that. So I feel like this season I've just been more aggressive. I've been more my old self. So I'm excited for the playoffs.
Heck yeah.
I love that energy. Tell me a little bit more. Give me more inside knowledge about your AAU season, what you did this summer to prepare for your senior year of high school ball, and maybe some of the young ladies that you played with to help you get better.
I actually played with this team out of Columbia called SC Future. Shout out to my peoples. Yeah, I played with them. A lot of them on my team are like a couple of the top players in the state. Like my teammate Tariana Gray, I'm pretty sure she's the top player in 4A at the moment. But yeah, I love them. They brought out so much energy and just stuff that I didn't even know I still had in me. Like we finished like 31-3 or something like that on the AAU season. We went to big tournaments in Kentucky, Georgia, like Charleston, and it just showed that we played together. I think I was the second tallest person on our team, and we were beating kids that were like 6'4", 6'3". So that was just something that really showed me that when I'm on a team and we put our minds to it, we can just really do anything. So that mindset really just transferred over into this season in our team, because as you know, we don't really have the numbers. We have like 7, maybe 8 players on a good day. And then I think again, I might be the third tallest this time. But yeah, we don't really have the numbers for all of that, but we're still beating teams and fighting hard. So I'm proud of us.
Yeah, no doubt. It's been fun to watch and definitely excited to see how far you guys can go. Big win for USCB last night, USCB women. You got any recruiting updates for us yet?
Well, I was supposed to commit this weekend. Like I was gonna go to where I was going, gonna tell the coaches that I commit, and then I was gonna announce my commitment on senior night, which is Tuesday. But something came up, and I had a little discussion with Coach Roberts, and there's more schools that are interested. So I might hold off my commitment maybe another week and a half, maybe.
All right.
We'll see.
Yeah, leave us hanging a
No
bit.
rush. No rush.
Yeah.
If you got more suitors, you gotta hear what they have to say
time for
before you
sure.
make that decision. It's a
But,
big decision. No need to
it's
rush it.
Big
but-
one. It's some say it's a 4-year decision. I mean, others will say it's a 20, 25 plus year decision because you're getting education, and that
I'd
gives
say
yourself
40.
time. Yeah, yeah. And
Now, with the transfer portal being what it is, it
Right.
doesn't have to be a 40-year
Right.
decision anymore. But you'd like to find the place you want to be and start building, that relationship. And
on that note,
let it go through.
Where you are a sensation on the track. You've done some great work over there. Are you planning on, first off, finishing off your track career this spring at Bluffton, and have you given thought to what you could do at the next level?
That's still up in the air at the moment. That's still deciding on that, because the past 2 years of doing track, I injured at least one of my hamstrings, and I injured the other one the following year. So that kind of ruined track for me. But at the moment, it's like I've been doing it since I was 7. So I'm like, I can do it, like just for the fun of it. But I don't know. Like, even though all the schools that have offered me, they've said that they'll let me do basketball and then let me do track if that's what I want to do. Like, but we'll see, I guess.
Most of them will let you, because usually the track coach is going, hey, if you have anybody who can run track, we'll take them, because they just want points, man. They'll put as many people as they can put in every race. They want points. So they'll take anybody and everybody on campus. I used to go around campus with Gaither recruiting at USCB. He taught me how to look at people's ankles and see if they can be track athletes or not. We did some serious recruiting. But well, Koya, we appreciate you. Always enjoy talking with you, and it's great to see your continued success, and we can't wait to hear where you're going to keep playing your ball next year.
Thank you for having me, and I hope you guys will come to the game tomorrow.
Where are you going, Russ?
I'm actually
we're playing tomorrow.
I think WHHI has that one.
Yep.
So we're gonna have Marcus on the Hoops Report tomorrow night to give us a report from that one, so that we can go other places and see other people. But we'll see you again this year. Don't you worry.
I already know.
See you later, Koya. Take care. To Koya Hayward, Bluffton girls basketball. Gosh, she's so cool. I just remember the first time I talked to her, interviewed her outside the locker room, and she was such a shy middle schooler, and now she gets on here and just chops it up with us.
A year from like a year ago, I was talking to her, and she certainly, I mean, she was growing, but she's still, sometimes
she's a different kid this year, right?
Yeah, I think everything that contributed, playing that AAU in the summer and just really getting more motivated. And she just looks like a different kid, more energetic kid, and
Yep.
just someone who wants a little bit more this year. So, and that's been the difference for getting bluffed into right now number 3 in the state of South Carolina, and well deserved
Yeah.
there in that girls 4A ranking. So, there obviously there's some quality teams over there in that 4A classification, but they will go as far as Tequoia. We'll take them, and Tequoia is going to be extra motivated as she's ready for playoffs right now. She could, if
Yeah,
the
she
playoffs
is.
start today, she'd be all in for it. So we
She's
can't
standing
wait.
on business. She's standing on business, as the kids say.
Yeah.
But let's shout out the varsity sponsors of Loco Sports, and we're bumping up Rooted Living Wellness, Dr. Ambrose Cole, up to the varsity level. Lots of great people over at Rooted Living Wellness, including Dr. Kevin, who is a big wrestling guy. He was a big wrestler in Ohio and went on to wrestle in college. So they got lots of cool people over there at Rooted Living Wellness. My friend Kelly Houseman also over there. She does the massage therapy. But Dr. Ambrose Cole is officially our sponsor and the official chiropractor of Loco Sports. I need to go see him. You've probably seen me cracking my shoulder and neck trying to get it right. I need to go see Dr. Ambrose, but it's his birthday. So happy birthday to Dr. Ambrose.
Happy birthday.
And maybe go see him next week to get cracked up. He'll get you feeling right, mind, body, and spirit at Rooted Living Wellness. We also have DDS Web Design, official SEO experts of Loco Sports. So they build, host, and maintain websites that get results for small businesses and nonprofits. So find them at ddshhi.com if you want to get found online so you can do more and think bigger. Parker Law Group serves legal needs across Hampton, Colleton, and Jasper counties, and they've been doing that for years, and now they're on board with us as a varsity sponsor, helping us continue to expand our coverage in those counties and shine a light on more deserving teams and student athletes. And Reverence Wrestling Club is the official wrestling sponsor of Loco Sports and the presenting sponsor of the Loco Grind, coming at you Sunday night at 10 p.m. with all the high school wrestling news from around the Loco. So those are our varsity sponsors.
You want to talk basketball? You want to talk news, because we got some big
Well,
news.
let's talk news. Let's talk. There's not a lot of basketball to talk about tonight. I know BA and Cross played. I'm not sure what the girls' game ended up. I know BA won the boys' game, but I think the bigger news that people are interested in is the realignment, which we already knew what classification everyone was going to be. We knew Beaufort was coming to 4A to join the all Loco region, although Bishop England is the fly in the ointment. We have one outside our coverage area in that 4A region. So, but that's a nice foil for the Loco as well, because nobody likes Bishop England. Like they're like Notre Dame. You're either with them or you're against them, and so that'll be a fun region. And then in 3A, do you have them up? Go through them. Battery Creek's in 3A.
Yeah, they drew Oceanside.
Yeah,
that's going to be
we'll get them.
Pull up the realignment right now, but yeah, that's a tough draw to have Oceanside, who just stayed in 3A. Chance that they could go up further, but they're with Hanahan, who is right now still in the region now. North Charleston, and then Orangeburg Wilkinson comes in there at 6-3.
So what I'm going to have to do is evaluate which teams we're going to be covering for the next 2 years that are outside our coverage area, and see if it makes sense to expand it. And then, so you see it there. North Charleston, Oceanside, ODub. That's an interesting region. That's a crappy travel region for Battery Creek.
Yeah, that's a lot of travel. You go to Charleston a couple times. OW's a little bit of a
now
hike.
This is a fun region. Barnwell, Bridges, Edisto, Hampton, Lake Mary, and Whale Branch.
See, Bridges is not a football school, but that football region with those 5 going to be lit. Barnwell's always been a strong program. Edisto hasn't been that's a team you can't count out.
Well, and that's where Livingston and Singleton are now from Estill. So I think that program will continue to get better.
And Lake Marion, that's always a
Lake Marion's always pretty solid in basketball. They've been up and down in football, but they've also been 3A at times. So they should be pretty competitive in 2A. Yeah, I think it's a pretty good region. Barnwell, Hampton, and Whale Branch are all kind of traditional powers. Really good for basketball. I love the Hampton Whale Branch rivalry potential. I know some of the 2As, Hampton was a little concerned about Philip Simmons, but they stick in the more Charleston-centric region with Woodland and Timberland, which is how I thought it was going to come out when I started looking at the number of teams. I thought there were enough closer to Charleston that our teams would avoid having to travel all the way up there. Lake Marion's a pretty good haul, but it's straight shot up 95, so pretty good in that regard. Edisto is already in Hampton's region. 1A is wild. Look at 1A. You got Allendale, Bamberg, Denmark, Olar, Hardyville, Polaris Tech, Ridgeland, and Royal Live Oaks. Polaris Tech and Royal Live Oaks are mostly irrelevant in most sports.
We got the Richland Hardyville rivalry, which is the big. I mean, obviously we expected it, but that's going to be so much fun because back in the day, as you noted, it got pretty rowdy, especially in those jibs.
Oh man, it was great. It was really great. That football game, that one Ridgeland versus Hardyville football game I went to at Ridgeland was one of the better atmospheres I've been around. It was tremendous. I love the culture they're building at Hardyville High School. I think there's already a lot of school pride there, and I think they're going to come out and put a good showing on in their first year back as the Hurricanes. They're excited to bring that back because that school was having a lot of success. I mean, the girls got to state a couple of times. The football team had a lot of success, and then they put them back together. And there were some hurt feelings at Hardyville. They felt like they were really building something. So they're excited to regain that legacy, so to speak, and start building it again. And Rayleigh's the principal now, and he was the football coach the first time around. So, there's some cool storylines and through lines there. And I love that rivalry will
going back to the 6-4A though. The wild card, Bishop England, it's a very strong school just for Olympic sports. So for like tennis and soccer.
Oh, 100%.
So that could be a lot of fun, especially, Hilton Head, May River. Some of the schools have always been really good in those Olympic sports. That's going to be a tough add-in for that region. For some of the football, they're okay. They're solid.
They've kind of fallen off in recent years. They were really a powerhouse, but Oceanside opening really siphoned a lot of their students off. There's just more competition now for those kids who want to go to the charters or the private schools.
The Olympic sports for sure. They have.
But yes. Yeah, they're always solid in the sports they're good at. They're really good, and they'll be really good in volleyball, for example. Like they'll really challenge in volleyball, so they'll be solid. They'll be a good foil. But I love that we get a lot of Lowco teams together.
And then the other thing I wanted to add is
only 6 regions in 4A though. That's wild.
and that was the question I was asked. But in terms of playoffs, like. There are some, I think, like in 3A, there's barely like.
There's only 33 teams in 3A, so
what do you
I don't know. I don't pretend to know. Like you've only got 6 regions, so maybe you're going to go 24.
That's what I was thinking.
And give 24 sort of makes sense. You got to give some buys. How do you determine who gets buys? Yeah. So I mean, I don't know. You can't really do 16 because even if you just go 3 per region, I guess you could do 2 per region and then 4 at larges.
Yeah.
Something like that. But I don't know. I hope we're not going to go 32 out of 33.
Yeah.
That's insane. If we do that, that'd be crazy. Yeah, but that's the one question I had. Like, I think they aced this realignment process overall. I think they handled the appeals really well. It truly was kind of a case by case basis, and they mostly did what made sense. But yeah, there's a couple of things that make you scratch your head, like the 33 teams in Class 3A is wild. So we'll see what comes out of that. And then, 1A gets weird because not everybody plays football. So you have to try to figure it out where you get like a reasonable number of football teams in each region. So I think there was some variability here between Region 4 and Region 5. it's kind of scattered all over the place. Like Baptist Hill, there's so many schools in that little concentration, sort of west of Charleston, where you got Baptist Hill and then around Orangeburg, Bethune-Bowman, Branchville. Like all these schools could easily be in the same region with any of these schools. So that was the one that I could not figure out what they were going to do in 1A. I wasn't sure who we were going to end up with, paired with Ridgeland and Hardyville. But I think they handled it pretty well. I'm excited for some new rivalries. I think Buford makes more sense in 4A than in 3A. I'm glad that was short-lived with them in 3A. I was hoping maybe Battery Creek would drop to 2A. I think they'd be far more competitive there, but and it would make more sense for them travel-wise, but they're too big. So that's what we get. We're represented in every class by 5A, and this will be the last time we're not represented in 5A, I think. I think we're going to have at least one school in 5A next year.
Yeah, there's some
in 2 years.
There are a few on the cusp.
May River's
May River, yep.
Big enough. I don't see any way they avoid it next year or next cycle. But anyway, Little Hoops. USCB was tremendous last night. We talked about that probably enough at the outset. They're at Flagler on Saturday. That's going to be a good one. I mean, they're all good in the Peach Belt. Yeah. Truly, it was tremendous basketball last night. Just tremendous. The guys
excellent. The level of compete, the intensity back and forth. I mean, that is the style that we talked about with Ron Pudell's team how they play. It is so fun to watch.
You know what though? They had to find other ways to score last night. I was so impressed. First with Aiken's defense. I mean, they went to a zone on them a number of times and just kind of took them out of their rhythm. And they didn't, if you think about it, USCB did not make very many threes until late. And they usually feast on threes and runouts, dunks, things like that. And they got like one dunk all night, and they made a few threes early, and then Bullock just went bananas at the end of the second half. He was getting shut out until like the 8-minute mark of the second half, and then he scored 18 in the last 8 minutes in overtime.
Man, Tyler Johnson, that kid.
That dude can go. That dude can go. He got up the court so fast with the ball. When he would get a defensive rebound, man, he was up the court in a flash. And USCB was doing a great job of getting back on D, but he was just electric. And but they had that game. It was there for the taking.
Oh man, they're up multiple possessions and got hit those free throws to close it out. Overstreet. I thought the shot which drew the foul, I thought it was going to go in with the hand one.
I did too. And if the guy, they had to call the foul because he got hacked hard. And if it was a good foul, because if the guy didn't hack him, he was throwing it down at the buzzer to win the game. So it was an incredible game. Coach Drafts was great on the call. Really enjoyed sitting talking with him for 4 hours for two overtime games. But looking forward to the next one next Wednesday at home in the Cove against Columbus State. Should be fun. Come on out, check out a game. It's good times. I promise.
We got double week. We got 2 coming up. Clayton
State Wednesday, Saturday next week. Yeah. Oh, is it? I thought that was the next one. They got Flagler on the road Saturday.
We got Flagler on the road, and we got 2 straight at home.
Nice.
Coming up the week after. So
Columbus State and Clayton State.
Columbus State on Saturday, or Columbus State Wednesday, and Clayton
Wednesday, Clayton State Saturday. Yeah. Those are 2 games that Clayton State beat the men on the road, so they're going to want that one. That's a winnable game for sure. They're all winnable, really. Yeah, the way they played Aiken last night, they're all winnable.
Yeah.
They're all losable too, though.
Especially I think you're taking care of your home court, and the energy from the student section was outstanding again. They had the lighters, and the presentation was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was good last night.
It's better and better. So it
was juicy last night. It was good. Last night on the high school front, Hampton County took 2 from Ridgeland Hardyville, 57-33 in the girls' game, 60-46 in the boys. Bridges Prep got a really good win on the road. The boys 54-51 over Bethune-Bowman, which beat them at home earlier in the season. I didn't see the score, but Whale Branch won at Allendale or against Allendale. JP2 swept Charleston Collegiate both pretty big wins. And Patrick Henry swept Thomas Hayward. Thomas Hayward boys are playing people tough. They're playing them real tough. They only lost by 9 to PHA.
Patrick Henry boys.
Well, they're good. They're good. Don't get it twisted. They got a shot to make a run. But THA continues to kind of surpass my expectations. They're better than I thought they'd be. Who had the big games for PHA? TJ had 16, TJ Johnson, and 7 rebounds. Forrest had 13 points, and Hugh had 12. But good effort from Thomas Hayward. Let's do Loco Booster Club, and then we will do our athletes of the week and talk about where we're going tomorrow on a big Friday night of Loco Hoops. The Loco Booster Club, we got Court Lifestyle Pros. Daniel and Debbie Court are low country natives selling the Loco lifestyle on the Hilton Head Island. They'd love to help you come home to HHI. Barefoot Floor Care of the Low Country. Chris Odom will get your floors so clean, your feet will thank you almost any surface, just not dirt. Prime IV Hydration and Wellness, now open in Belfair Town Village. Great place to go see Max and get juiced up with the IV drip. And Eagle Creations, great place to get promotional items, custom apparel, or custom gift baskets. Go see Bill and Mandy over on Argent Boulevard. The newest sponsor of Loco Sports is Revive Rehab Pelvic Floor Therapy. So if you need some work downstairs, go call on Dr. Jen and Dr. Ali, and they will help you with physical therapy on your pelvic floor so you can get all your function back and get feeling right at Revive Rehab. And Jay's Barbershop, the place to be in Ridgeland, whether you need a haircut or not. Great place for spicy conversation with lots of great folks. You might run into one time over there. Loco legend one time gets his haircut at Jay's Barbershop. Love Jay and the folks over there. So that's Loco Booster Club. Wes, athletes of the week?
Yeah, tough choices this week for my girls athlete. I'm going to go to the Cove, and I wanted to shout out two Sand Sharks. First, Michaela Primo, who I thought she really had an extra edge to her game, and her electricity on the floor was huge. Led all scores with 18, produced defensively with a couple steals, and made a huge three late in that game to help bring the Sand Sharks back. And then Janiyah Hayward, ferocious over on the boards, pouring in 17, and really great intensity from her as well for Sharon Versip's group. And those two really led the way, but a strong effort from a bunch of those young ladies. I mean, Tanaya Bowman with an excellent game coming off the bench, and Shania Rose putting a bunch of boards. But Michaela Primo, the young woman who impressed me the most out there in the court, 4 double figures as well. Madison Self got in there with 10. So I needed a couple, but just wanted to give them a shout because that's a historic win. Brad Cleaver had to grab that basketball right after the game ended and save it for safekeeping because that's a historic and important inaugural Peach Belt win. So congratulations to the Sand Sharks. And I'm gonna leave. I want to pick everybody, so I'll just pick a guy. And there were 2 that I was thinking of, but I'm gonna go with Will Bostwick because just the caliber of who he was going up against, and 2 huge performances. Really, I mean, you can say 3 really strong games. Going back to the Hilton Head game where he put up 18. Then he came back the next day and excelled in that win over Lucy Beckham, and then he took it on the road and on the hostile environment. The hometown showdown, or whatever they call it now, rivalry game at Bluffton, and another solid outing. I know the scoring in front of me right now for Bostwick, but it was double figures, and he put down an important 3 midway through that game, or at least got close to double figures in scoring. But he was noticeable by the way he was shooting and the confidence that he showed out there, running the offense, making efficient passes, and playing tough D. Tenacious group. Love the way May River boys basketball is playing. That just seems like a tough squad to face in the postseason, and the rest of the street schedule. And Bostwick is a hot hand, but not yet done. There were a couple of excellent shooters in that May River squad, as well as talking Gage Duncan, as well as Tina Macy. So like the way that May River boys team is playing, and Bostwick has given them the biggest spark to pick up 3 huge region wins in a row.
Yeah, he's been really good, and he was sick the whole time too.
Game, yeah.
He was about to chuck on the show the other night. He was having a hard time all of a sudden, and I texted him. I was like, "You all right, man?" He said, "Yeah, man, I got the flu." So that gives me even more respect for the way he's played the last 3 games, and he handled himself quite well in the interview, considering what rough shape he was in. It's okay to say no if you're sick, guys. But for my athletes of the week, for the girls, I got to give the love to the lady we had on tonight, Takoya Hayward. She's just been so good this season. She had 30, as you mentioned, against May River. I'm just looking at this. There's only been 2 games this season where she wasn't in double figures, and they were 2 of the first 4. And I think they were both big wins, so she probably just sat a lot late. But since then, since December 8th, she's been in double digits every time: 19, 23, 17, 20, 15, 22, 12, 20, 17, 14, 31, 22, 12, 30. So she's had 30 pieces in her last 4 games, which is really impressive. She's just doing everything really well for them right now, and she knows that they need her to. I've been so impressed with her growth, more so this year than at any point before. I think she's really grown up, and you alluded to that earlier. She's also got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 double doubles. And in the game where she scored 9, she had 10 assists. So, she's just a true stat sheet stuffer, and really become a team first kid. So I love talking with her. She gets better every time we get her on. We've trained her well. She's ready for the next level. And then I had to call on our guy Hulk Hagan to get my boys athlete of the week, because I want to shout out this Bridges Prep team for winning their region title tonight. Their 106 pounder, Dayton Yankovic. He had to make a tough cut tonight. He had to drop 2 pounds in 30 minutes to make weight, and then he went 3-0, sealed the victory against Bamberg. The guys picked him up, lifted him on their shoulders after his pin, like the end scene out of Vision Quest, which Coach Hagan showed in class earlier this season. So they knew about Cooch and Vision Quest. Oh, man, I love it. That's fantastic. So Dayton Yankovic with the 2-pound cut in half an hour to make 106, and then get 2 or 3 dubs tonight, including the clincher against Bamberg. That's amazing stuff. So congrats to Bridges Prep for the region title, as well as May River Wrestling, 6 in a row for them. Battery Creek came up just short, but I'm telling you, Rutherford thinks they got a shot to make a run in the playoffs, maybe even get to the lower state final, and then who knows what happens there. So looking forward to those wrestling playoffs. We'll talk much more about. Gerhardt wants to see the picture of the Vision Quest walk off. Yeah, me too. We're definitely gonna have to get that lined up for the Lowco grind on Sunday. But that's gonna do it for tonight. Thanks so much to Ashley Powell for stopping by, as well as what we're doing tomorrow. Where are you going tomorrow? You're going JP2?
I'm going to JP2 Hilton Head Christian Academy. I cannot wait for that girls game. You cannot take that JP2 squad lightly, especially if Brady Mahoney is dominant. As obviously, I expect Hilton Head Christian Academy to provide some resistance, but Mahoney has been outstanding. Her hustle, her rebound, her scoring. Going to be a big test for the HHCA squad, which has been so dominant throughout the years. I think JP2, has an opportunity to, put up a strong fight against them and take it to the limit. So really pumped for that game. Then the guys' game, I think I like JP2 in that one, but you never know with Hilton Head Christian Academy. You really never know this year what you're going to get.
Well, I think they're going to be down some players because they had an incident at the end of the Bethesda game where the teams kind of scuffled, and I think they have some players suspended. I don't know who or how many, or for how long, but that'll be something to watch tomorrow night, because if they don't have a lot of depth, so we'll see what that looks like. They may have to pull some people up or something, depending on how many are suspended. But Yeah, it's just been a rough go for HHCA. You'd love to see them turn it around, but it's an opportunity for JP2 to pick them off. Got some great games tomorrow. Bluffton at Hilton Head on WHHI. We'll have the Hoops Report at 10. We'll have Marcus Walsh and/or the Libs on to talk about it with us.
The other game I'm watching, May River Lucy Beckham, the boys game. That's going to be, the May River, they got them at home. Now can they find a way to, perform on the road at a tough Beckham squad? So, you expect a good early start and push there from that Bengals team that, I'm sure they're going to respond. They're going to respond with some vengeance early, I feel like, and get into their game. And especially with their big man 55 over there, when he's on the floor, that's a very, very tough team to defend. So, I expect a battle over there on Lucy Beckham between those two squads on the boys' side. And then we got I believe the Buford Battery Creek rematch.
Yep. Buford at Battery Creek. We'll have the guys from Buford's Zone will be there, so I'm sure we'll hear from them after the game. I think I'm going to try to get out to Hampton for Ridgeland Hardyville Hampton if I can get free to make that long of a trip tomorrow night. But that's kind of what I'm thinking. Although I'll probably have to leave early to get back, but I might let you and Marcus get the show started while I make my way back from Hampton. That could be another possibility. We'll figure it all out. There's always a lot of moving parts, and you never know who's going to come down sick this time of the year either. So we'll figure it all out as we go, and it'll be a great time tomorrow night on the Lowco Hoops Report at 10 p.m. So we look forward to seeing you then. Thanks so much to Ashley Powell for stopping by to talk about May River Wrestling with us, as well as Alex Hagan for the dispatches from the road during the show. Congrats to them for that region title from Bridges. And thanks to Takoya Hayward for another stellar performance and appearance on the LowcoSports Lowdown. Bobcats at Hilton Head tomorrow night on WHHI TV. And that's going to do it for tonight. Thanks to all of our sponsors and to everyone who showed up to listen or watch. You're the reason we do it. And until next time, I am Justin Jarrett. He's Wes Kerr. And until next time, go Lowco.
The LowcoSports Lowdown podcast is a production of Lowco Media LLC and LowcoSports.com, an independent media outlet providing grassroots local sports coverage in the South Carolina Lowcountry. We are sustained by community support from sponsors and patrons like you. Get in the game with a monthly pledge of $1 or more at patreon.com/LowcoSports to keep us going and growing. Go Lowco.